this is where it will show the strength and what kind of characters they have in the dressing room. Of this is where you can get divides and splits in change rooms when results are not going right, and then people start getting their little groups and moaning individually. But they need a win quickly. The manager knows that. Everyone connected to Wolves know that. But as I look at Wolves, I don't. Who's their main characters? Who's their ones that are going to grab this and get the group together? And also watching, I don't see the identity and what they're actually trying to do, really.
Yeah, and I mean, losing players like Matheus Cunha and Ryan Aït-Nouri was obviously huge for them in the summer. Let's get the fan view now. And Wolves fan Jacob Jones joins us. Good morning to you, Jacob. First of all, how concerned are you at the moment?
Very concerned. I think Charlie summed it up perfectly. There's not a leader in the group. We've been very fortunate with clubs coming up. That was also a fantastic point. And I feel like the owners thought that we can almost wing it. We've come out of the last 3 or 4 transfer windows were the weakest squad we went in. And I think after Saturday, any Wolves fan that tells you they're not worried is simply deluding themselves, because what we saw Saturday was nothing short of abysmal, and you're not going to stay in the league with them kind of performances.
Have you been that bad? Obviously, you're saying you were on Saturday, but 5 games in, have you been that bad? Have you been unlucky?
Yes, I would say we have, and what worries me more is teams aren't having to be good to beat us. Even look at Man City on the opening game, they didn't really get out of second gear and beat us 4-0. Newcastle were particularly impressive against us, beat us 1-0. Even Leeds on Saturday didn't particularly have to do anything in the second half, aside from sit behind the ball, and we have no answers to it. We don't have Matheus Cunha or Ryan Aït-Nouri to break them down anymore, so we have no answers.
Jake, on that, if you talk about the 2 players that obviously left, it's tough to replace them. Like, one's gone to Manchester United, one's gone to Man City. Right? I totally understand that, but I don't see a leader in that group that's going to grab the group together or get hold of the ball and demand the ball and take Wolves up the pitch or excite the fans like Matheus Cunha did. That's what he done for them. But more importantly, Burnley, you watch them every week. Except, could you tell me what Wolves' clear identity is and what they're actually trying to do?
That isn't one I'm trying to figure it myself. We can't tell what they're even doing in training at the minute, it seems. We've even got players that looked decent last year, like Emmanuel Agbadou, looking absolutely abysmal, like he's never kicked a football before this season. Every game we go into, and we almost give up after a goal, it seems. Because like you say, Charlie, there's not that character to lift us up anymore. We've lost our last 5 or 6 captains, and these new players got no one to bed them in.
And that's a worrying thing, by the way. If you're saying after one goal, and I've been in teams where you can see one, you can see everyone's head drops, and then all of a sudden the second goal goes in, and almost the game's gone. And that's a worrying thing. And that's when you've got to try and have leaders. But that also comes down to, especially now the way football is, that comes down to full recruitment. Everybody's got all the thing on scales and the stats, etc., etc. And what never comes into it is what the character's like, and are they true leaders? Because, like I say, as you look at Wolves now, you don't have any.
No, completely right, and it's very, very worrying. I wasn't too worried before Saturday because I was holding on to a bit of blind hope from when we played West Ham in the Cup. Our first team players did come on, and we looked far better than West Ham. So my thought process was, if we're looking far better than the teams lower down when our first team players do come up, then maybe we're going to be okay. But obviously Saturday completely disproved that point, and no disrespect to Leeds, but you shouldn't be losing 3-1 at home to Leeds, and you certainly shouldn't concede 3 to them in the first half.
In terms of leaders, you have got a head coach who signed a new contract. What was your reaction to that, and are the fan base mainly still behind their manager?
Yeah, but we're the only club in the league, it seems, where you can not win a game since April and get a new contract. I don't see another team where that's happening. It's happened twice at Wolves. Gary O'Neill hadn't won a game since May last year, got a new contract, and then it delayed his departure when he should have gone beforehand. I'm not saying we should get rid of Vitor Pereira, but his new contract has come at his most dubious time, I think. I think a few Wolves fans have expressed slight frustration. His subs are left quite late, quite often, in my opinion, which doesn't help us at all. So I think it's another bizarre decision by the board, but we expect nothing less at this point. I don't think the board has made a good decision for the past 2 years, it seems.
Rich has sent us a WhatsApp saying that Wolves are 100% going down. You wouldn't go as far as to say that, would you?
No. We've been in this situation, it seems, before lots of times. We always start the season poor, and suddenly Jeff Shea and Fosun find the money in January. We've seen it under Lopetegui. We saw it last year when Vitor Pereira came in. But my worry is we're going to be too far behind that pack once we get to January, where the players we bring in won't make a difference because we're going to have too much of a gap to make up.
I think it's sorry. My thing on there is also what's quite alarming is where are your goals coming from? That's quite a lot. I look at it and think Wolves haven't got someone that's or not two or three. They haven't got one player that's gonna be like I'm the goal scorer. I know Strand Larson is there, probably the main person, but other than that, I don't see it. Like that's Wolves are going to struggle for goals.
No, and if you're not scoring goals, you can't be conceding goals, and we're leaking goals like no end at the minute. So it's all looking very doom and gloom. Obviously, Strand Larson, a great return last year, but you have Mateus Cunha and Ryan Norwich supplying him. He doesn't have that anymore. And the players we bring in, I don't want to judge them too harshly too soon, but they don't seem anywhere near the level of what we've lost. There was chance on Saturday of you sold the team, now sell the club. It was a very toxic atmosphere, and I think that sums it up perfectly. We have sold all our assets. I mean, you look, only 3 years ago, we had a bloke who just finished third on the Ballon d'Or on our bench. Now, we've got players who look not fit to play in a good championship side starting, and that just shows how far we've declined in a short space of time, in my opinion.
What happens then if it's Tottenham away next, then it's Brighton at home before the international break? That's in the league. I know you've got the Carabao Cup tonight, but what happens if you've still got 0 points from 7 games?
Well, if there wasn't a new contract given to Pereira, you'd assume that it would be the end of his time at Wolves, but he's got that new contract, so it would probably mean nothing. We probably will go with 0 points because I'll be so honest, where are we going to get a point from if we're not beating teams like Leeds at home? You can't then go into Tottenham away and expect to get something, or Brighton at home. You know, these are better teams than what we've already lost to, so it's rather alarming. And the longer we're in this rut of 0 points, the worse the dressing room's going to get, and the harder it is going to be to get off that mark.
Jacob, I'm sure things will get better for you, okay? Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I remind you, you can watch